Welcome to episode 11 of Monty's Ironsides, and in this video I'll be showing you how to sculpt sandbags and sandbag armour. Sandbags were pretty much the defensive staple of World War II. They were used extensively from machine gun pits to reinforcing buildings and even to reinforce the armour of a tank. It was just a very cheap way of getting an extra few centimetres between the armour of the projectiles that the enemy was firing at you and the crew inside. And in this video what I'll be doing is showing you how you can sculpt your own sandbags that you can use to build defensive fortifications or even to apply them to tanks. And in this case I'll be actually showing you how to apply it to the Sherman Firefly that we looked at in the previous video. So let's get things started by taking a look at the materials you'll need. For this tutorial you will need the following items. First of all, you'll need to get yourself some green stuff that you'll actually be sculpting these sandbags out of. You'll need to get yourself a sculpting tool, preferably one that has a rounded flat edge like this one here. You'll also need a hobby knife, and finally a brush which has some coarse bristles. And you also need, whenever working with green stuff, some water as well. So let's get started. The first task when making the sandbags is to mix the green stuff, and whenever you work with green stuff you want to make sure that everything is wet, so your fingers, the surface which you're working on, the green stuff, and also the tools that you're using. So what I'll be doing is I'll just be taking a small amount of this green stuff off using my hobby knife here. I don't really need much as I'm only going to be doing one sandbag for this tutorial, but if you want to do more sandbags you obviously need more green stuff. So once you've removed it from the rest of it, you want to cut out this middle section here. Now the reason for this is because this middle section often hardens because it's the two sections mixed together, and by removing it you can avoid any potential lumps in your green stuff. So once you've done that you just want to make sure you mix it, and you want to make sure you get a really nice green colour. You can just start seeing the green colour forming there. So once you have your green stuff balled, the next step is to roll it out into a sausage shape. So I'm going to be rolling it on the surface here, making sure that the surface on my fingers are wet, and that just stops the green stuff from sticking. So we want to roll it until it's roughly about half a centimetre in thickness. And then we're going to be taking our hobby knife here, dipping it in the water, removing the excess, and then cutting roughly about half a centimetre along again, maybe a little bit more actually. And this creates this nice flared edge, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze this in a little bit and just pinch this end, and this just creates a nice sandbag shape. Once your sandbag is sculpted you can use it in many ways. The first way that I've used it is to build a sandbag wall. You can see here I've got all my sandbags and I've individually sculpted these and kind of piled them on top of each other and pressed down as well. It creates this really nice compacted sandbag wall here. As you notice, the sandbags aren't uniform, as they very rarely were, especially when they were filled up with different amounts of sand and materials. Now the other way you can apply your sandbags is as sandbag armour on a vehicle. Now I have my Sherman here and I've just added a small amount of plastic card on the bottom there just to act as a stop. And I'm going to be bringing in the sandbag that I've just sculpted. I'm just going to place it on this section here. Now you want to make sure that whenever you apply these to vehicles that you don't block any viewports or hatches. So this is a nice little place to put it there. So I'm going to be popping it there very loosely at the moment. Then I'm going to be bringing in my sculpting tool here. I'm just wetting it, making sure that it's not going to actually stick. And you want to press down. You want to press down from above, as this is where the gravity will kind of be pressing down from. And this will squash it down into the rest of the sandbags. Now I would recommend doing this when all of the green stuff is wet, so you do the whole section in one go, and this creates a nice kind of squashed effect. So once you've actually got your sandbag in position, you want to add a little bit of texture to it. So for this I use this kind of very coarse bristled brush that I've got here. You just about to see the individual bristles there. And what I do is I just press it onto the surface of the bag, both horizontally like so, and then the opposite way. This creates a nice kind of burlap effect on the sandbag. So another detail that you can add to your sandbags is to apply the seam around the edge. You can see I've done on some of the ones I've already applied here. This is really easy. You just have to take your hobby knife, or the scalpel in my case, and make sure it's thoroughly wet. And what you want to do is around the side of the sandbag, as you can see on this one here that I've just added on, you want to just press on quite lightly. You don't want to press on too much. Just create this nice groove going around the edge of the sandbag. You can go all the way around the entire edge if you want to. Alternatively, if you really wanted to really add some nice detailing, you can actually take a very small sausage of green stuff, a very thin one, cut a small amount off, round it into almost like a rose shape and place it on the end of the bag. Then that'll almost create like a tied handle effect. You can see I'm just creating this line around the edge of the sandbag. It just creates a really nice additional detail. So that was how to sculpt sandbags using green stuff, and as you can see, it's a very, very simple method. You could set up a production line and churn up quite a few of these out, and you can use it for a lot of different things. It's very versatile. You can use them to create emplacements, you could use them to fill out diorama sections, or you could use them like I have on your tanks, and it's a really great way of giving your tanks a little bit of character as well. You could I really like stowage. If you see my Brent Carrier video, you know how I like stowage, and it's a great way of just kind of adding a little bit more personalization to your own vehicles. It's a good way of distinguishing between them if you've got a few of them as well, so definitely do give that a go. Also, if you haven't done so already, check out my previous videos in the series, subscribe to be kept up to date with all the future videos, and also let me know what you're thinking about this video series as well. And if you've got any suggestions for what you'd like to see in the series going forward, then just drop them in the comments below. So until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.